One of the very important things to achieve success in lives is that you need to be prepared to take the risk that is needed. And you have to see the invisible before you can achieve the impossible.
83% of Americans identify as not very happy, which can hold you back and negatively affect your relationships and your business. On this podcast, we discuss the proven steps to happiness so you can restore balance and rekindle your joy.
Welcome to another edition of How to Be Happier for Entrepreneurs. I hope you are having a fantastic day like I am. I hope the sunshine is shining bright and your smile is as well. We have a guest not close to the United States or DC, where I'm at, or I'm in Virginia, actually. We have Danijela. Welcome, Danijela.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you for inviting me to your fantastic podcast.
And tell everyone where you're from.
I'm from Serbia, from Belgrade.
Beautiful. So, former attorney who pivoted her career and is now doing some amazing work. We're going to get into all of that, but we love to jump right in. So I'm going to hit you with this question right off the bat. In your experience, Danijela, what are the most common reasons that people fail to achieve their goals? And how does this understanding inform your approach to helping them succeed?
Well, thank you for that question, Brad. Well, from my experience, I know that people struggle with collaborating with their subconscious mind and knowing the laws of the mind. And also, they don't use techniques that can help them achieve great results and achieve any goal, whether it's health goals, financial goals, or a success in their careers. For example, visualization technique is very helpful. Having the right beliefs, the right mindset. Then very important thing is to know how to redefine failure in order to achieve success. Also, we have to be aligned with our purpose. And so there is a trio in achieving any goal that consists of a desire, a belief, and an expectation of success. The greatest power we possess is located in our subconscious mind, but our subconscious mind is an amazing paradox. It does not have any ability to reason by itself, but it still possesses an amazing number of abilities and factors of intelligence. Your subconscious mind has 5 internal senses: inner vision, inner smell, inner taste, inner touch, and inner hearing. We actually prove this by having it while we dream. How is this possible if we sleep? It is possible because you use the 5 subconscious senses of your subconscious mind. It is this potential where you can use your subconscious senses for the visualization process. In fact, you must use your inner senses when you create a vision of your achieved goals. And you need to be precise and clear when you create a vision of your achieved goals, because it will be the mental equivalent of your reality.
So is this just like part of this is manifesting what you want?
Yes.
So Joe Dispenza's big on manifesting every night. Not every night. I don't want to lie. I have a journal where I write, I am sure that this has happened. And I've got about 30 of them. All my goals in life, what I want to do, helping people and living a lot on a boat and living in Florida. Those are my manifestations. So you talked about the subconscious mind. What specifically about the subconscious mind keeps people from achieving their goals?
Well, first of all, there are certain laws about our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind does not have any ability to think critically. It works according to programs, according to the blueprint. And the best analogy is with artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is an amazing platform capable of performing millions of calculations per second, but it is completely indifferent whether it is necessary to start a nuclear war or to solve the problem of world hunger. So our subconscious mind also uses these principles. It will only apply the programs installed. And this is precisely why sometimes our subconscious mind is stopping us from achieving our goals, even when we want something so desperately as conception, because our subconscious mind has only one job: to help us survive on this planet. And that is actually the first law of the mind. Let me give you an example. I was working with a client who had a problem getting pregnant. She was diagnosed with a secondary infertility. And to every woman who has problems with pregnancy, I always say, get pregnant with a vision. Your mind is the uterus. It is the creative center of your being. I tell my clients to be precise when they create a vision, whether they want a boy, a girl, or twins. The goal is not to get pregnant, but to give birth to a healthy baby. And for
Wow.
that, you need three visions: a vision of conception, a vision of a perfect pregnancy, and a vision of an easy birth. So, as a good detective, I always investigate the subconscious mind because I want to determine which subconscious beliefs are responsible for the challenge or impossibility of conception. For example, one client said to me, "The doctor told me you will never be able to get pregnant," or "Why doesn't God give me a baby?" That is an example of negative programming, because our subconscious mind does what it is supposed to do, what it is programmed to work.
Mm. So I was going to ask you for an example, and you just gave me one. But I'm going to share another really interesting example that I read in a case study recently, where there was a 40-something-year-old gentleman who was constantly underachieving. He was late for his rent. He couldn't keep a job, and when the therapist went in and really looked at his subconscious, do you know that his belief was that if I succeed, then my dad will be let off the hook for how badly he treated me. And he was always hoping, not consciously, but his subconscious mind was hoping that his dad would recognize and say, "Hey, I really messed you up. It's obvious," so that they could reconnect. And so as soon as they unlocked that, boom, his life took off.
Yes, and that is another law of the mind, because your emotion has a dominant power over logic. For example, if you associate pain and having selective amnesia and failure with going to the exam, then you will sabotage yourself and you will not take the action that is needed to achieve your goal. If instead of that you associate having perfect memory and confidence with going to the exam, then you will take the exam with great confidence. So, one of the laws of the mind is also that our mind always tries to move us away from pain and closer to pleasure. And that is why it is very important to associate pleasure and satisfaction with your goals instead of
Mm,
pain.
mm. Fascinating. So you made a major life transformation when you went from practicing law as an attorney to focusing on what we're talking about, the helping people, delve into their subconscious mind. What was the catalyst for this like major change in your life and career and philosophy?
I must say that we all need to be connected to our purpose. I have master's degree in law, but that was never my purpose. And this was my inner knowing, the inner voice, the inner guidance is something that we all have. We all have intuition and we always have our life purpose. We never lose our life purpose. We can only go on the wrong life path, but we can always return to our purpose because everyone has a purpose. Every human being has a purpose. And I have to say that I was constantly asking myself, what job could I do for the rest of my life, even for free, because I'm so passionate about that. And that is a good advice for everyone who wants to align themselves with their life's purpose. Before you go to bed, You could ask your subconscious questions about what kind of life would be fulfilling and meaningful for you, because sleep removes space and time from us. In dreams, we can step into the unconscious and we can connect to our spiritual being. Every idea, every creation, every discovery was the product of a human mind and spirit, and the inventors knew about this. They knew how to collaborate with their mind before going to bed. They were giving their subconscious mind clear instructions and precise questions. And this is something that you can and must apply in order to discover what is your purpose, because the key to collaborate with your mind is to give your subconscious precise questions and directions.
So
And the response will follow.
do you believe that living your life's purpose is a huge part of being happy and fulfilled and joy?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is. It is
So
very important.
so why were you practicing law in the first place?
Because I was following the advice from my parents, because I
Mm.
had their beliefs, and this is also something very important that I want to mention, that we are programmed in our childhood. Because we are open to programming. We were like a blank slate in childhood where adults write their beliefs. We learn all our fears. Think about this. The first words we spoke were the words of our parents. And this is precisely why we have so many incorrect and sometimes inappropriate thoughts and beliefs.
So, you know this, that when you're in hypnosis, you're in a theta wave brain state, which is when you're most open to suggestion, right? And
Yeah.
pretty much from birth to age 7, your brain, as it's developing, is in the theta wave brain state. So it's almost like we're being hypnotized for the first 7 years of our life. So we take in the good and the bad. And
Yes.
wow, talk about programming. The thing is, it's obvious to you because you do this work. There's so many human beings in this world that are being driven by this childhood programming that have no idea. And it's the cause of their drinking and their depression, their anxiety. And man, it's so great that, we have techniques and stuff to unlock it. So back to you were constantly asking yourself, what could I do for the rest of my life that I would just love it? And 3 years ago, I found that. And it's this work. It's helping people overcome those childhood beliefs, right? But what
Yes.
was you thought about that for a lot, but what happened? Like, did you just wake up one day and say, enough is enough? I'm done with this and I'm going to switch?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. I wanted to experience how it feels to follow your heart, to do something that your heart desires, that makes you happy. And of course, our life path is revealed to us through our life experiences. So since I was a child, I was receiving the signals. I was receiving the messages from my soul about what this new profession could be. But I have decided to ignore intuition. I have decided to just believe and use the programs that were installed. Because, our inner child lives in the reality of their childhood fears, feelings, and pain. And this is precisely why sometimes people don't take any action to achieve their goals. Because if a child was constantly judged and criticized by their parents in childhood, and constantly told you will never achieve anything, or you're useless, you're worthless, then when this child grows up, they will be reluctant to even try to achieve their goals. So sometimes we associate making our own decisions and following our heart's desire with being punished, with the fear of being punished, being judged, being rejected. And we all want to avoid rejection, and we all want to belong.
How scary was it that day that you said, I'm done? And I'm assuming you told someone you're done and you resigned.
Well, it wasn't scary. It was more scarier to live in a reality that I didn't choose for myself. It was more painful. It was more empty and that kind of life was in the future. When I thought about my future, that was more scarier than taking the risk, because one of the very important things to achieve success in lives is that you need to be prepared to take the risk that is needed. And you have to see the invisible before you can achieve the impossible, because it did seem impossible.
That is so beautiful, Daniela. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I can't make a move because it's too scary, or you know what, I wake up every day and I drive a half an hour to a job I don't like, and I come home and I fight with the spouse and I drink a bunch of beer or wine, and you're like, this is just it. This is what my life is meant to be. I'm going to, do it for another 10 or 20 years to retirement. You don't have to live like that. And I would urge you to ask the questions that Danijela asked herself. Is it scary to quit this job? Or is it more scary to think that I'm going to be stuck here for the next 10 or 20 years? Guys, we don't get to relive in the same body this life over again. This isn't a dress rehearsal. Like, this life is so short. I cannot believe that in less than 2 months, I turned 51 years old. I feel like I've been here. I feel like I'm 25 years old, and I feel like I've been here for 25 years. And man, has it gone fast. And it just keeps going faster and faster and faster. So
Yes.
the reason that you are scared, or the reason that you are not living your purpose, is the exact things that Danijela is talking about. You probably don't even realize it, but you've got these childhood programming issues. And if you want to find out in 3 minutes, go to bradchandler.com/quiz and take a self-love quiz that will tell you your level of self-love. If you have lack of self-love or mild self-love, it's almost a sure thing that you've got some of these programming issues. And once you figure them out, you can go to someone like Danijela. You can come to someone like me, and you can reverse them. There's science behind this, and there's history, thousands of years of history. And once you reverse those limiting beliefs, oh my gosh, life gets really good, doesn't it, Danijela?
Yes, it gets really fantastic. And knowing that you can go to bed um, believing that you have changed someone's life. It's not the work that we do in a session, it's the transformation that will happen in someone else's soul. And then it will impact their family, the rest of their life. And that is a beautiful feeling, a very unique feeling that many people don't get to experience. And this is why I want to say this. You have to tell your mind that it wants to do things that are difficult with pleasure, even if it's difficult to make a decision, to take a risk. You need to associate pleasure, and you need to ask yourself, what beliefs I need to have to achieve that goal. And you can take a test. You can write down all your negative beliefs that are stopping you from taking the steps that are necessary for taking the risk, and then write down the positive beliefs. And imagine your lifestyle. Imagine how would you feel? How would you look? Imagine how would you behave? Imagine the transformation that would happen in your soul if you took the steps and if you wouldn't hesitate anymore.
So you made the comment that if you do this exploration, that your family will change for the rest of their lives. Won't they change for generations to come?
Yes, that is a beautiful question, a very important and insightful question, because I think that in this day and age, we have a chance really to become the ancestor that is healed, that gives the right examples, that treats people kindly with respect, and the ancestor that knows how vulnerable children's soul is. And starting from childhood, to treat the youngest with love, with kindness, with support, with installing the right beliefs, and explaining to them that anything is possible, and that there is something called the model of possible thinking and the model of impossible thinking. And that means that you have to see the invisible before you can do the impossible. And imagine how would our future generations and our descendants live and change and transform this world if they had the right beliefs, the right mindset, starting from their childhood. But actually, we're also programmed in the womb. And I think it is very important to raise the awareness of how we treat pregnant women and how it affects their baby and the baby's development and their mental health. Because it is very important. In some cultures, people don't even raise their voices around pregnant women, because they know that the most developed sense in the womb is hearing due to amniotic fluid. And why am I saying this is because I worked with a client who had a resistance to motherhood. And she told me that she never knew why she never thought about having a child while all her friends dreamed about it. And she was condemned by her family and friends for not wanting children. During our therapy session, we found out that the reason for her resistance to motherhood was actually deeply rooted in a traumatic experience she went through when her mother was at about 6 months of pregnancy. Her mother was beaten by her mother-in-law during pregnancy, and she,
Wow.
as a fetus, was trapped in her mother's womb. She felt scared, she felt overwhelmed with stress, and she felt trapped in her mother's stomach. That response to fear that makes us fight or run away from the danger was not available to her because she was in the womb. So my client accessed her earliest life experience of trauma, her prenatal beliefs, prenatal trauma. And these fetal memories and experiences, impulses, emotions shaped my client's beliefs in the womb, because her subconscious mind was trying to protect her from ever again getting into a situation where she would feel helpless or trapped or stuck. That response to fear that wasn't available to her is also very important to understand. Then I asked her a key question: what is this pain trying to teach you? You can always ask yourself, what is my pain trying to teach me? There is an acronym: pay attention inwards now. So this leads us to the conclusion that our fears are shaped in the womb. We have prenatal beliefs and experiences and memories and impulses. So I helped this client to get rid of her limiting old beliefs about motherhood. And her beliefs were: it is not safe to be pregnant. It is
Yeah.
not safe to be a baby. Yes. And you can die together with the
Wow.
baby.
So
Yeah.
if I would have heard that story candidly 3, 4, 5 years ago, I'd have been like, this lady's absolutely crazy. And after doing the work that I've done and studying, thousands of hours and reading so many books, like, I completely believe it. And I've heard story after story of, I think Marissa tells a story, one of our Your and Mine's mentor, where the person was terribly afraid of drums, and it was because he was in the womb when some terrorists broke into the house somewhere in Africa, and she hid under the cabinet for her life, and the heartbeat was beating so hard on the baby's ears that he got afraid of noise. So if you heard what she said a couple minutes ago, it was a mic drop moment. You have the ability to be the ancestor that changes your family for generations to come. Because if you take the self-love quiz and you get the mild self-love or the lack of self-love, or you just haven't been able to reach your goals, or you're in just what you think is a crappy life, right? It's not your fault. And there's a reason for it. And it's probably from the childhood programming. But one of my favorite sayings is, pain moves through families until someone's willing to feel it. And you don't even have to feel it for that long. It's only a couple hours. But if you're willing to do that for your family, your literally your lineage and your and generations of your family can change. It's just such an amazing, powerful thing. You hold that ability right now to make those changes.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you, and it's really inspiring that you share that story about that boy that was programmed in his mother womb, because those are all true stories, and there are many others out there who have those stories, but we are not aware of them. In order to become aware that dream is a dream, a person must first wake up. Likewise, in order to become aware of our subconscious beliefs and mental blocks, we have to make them aware. And
And wake
one of
up.
the, yes, and wake up.
You were going to say one of the
Yes, what I wanted to say is that one of the best ways to access our subconscious beliefs and to understand why we are programmed. What is our mind trying to do for us, to protect us or to punish us? Um, it is very important to seek help, and um, help is available online. Help is available in your local area. So don't isolate yourself. Don't hold that pain inside, because there are so many psychosomatic illnesses. And think about how you talk about your pain, because when we have an illness, our language becomes psychosomatic. And illness always points the finger at a place where person is weak and small.
So how can entrepreneurs who are constantly facing challenges and trying to reach some level of success, whatever they define as success in their mind, what is some practical advice that you can give them? You've said a couple things, but what else can you tell us uh, to help them harness the power of their subconscious mind so that they can achieve the goals that they want in life?
Yes, except for having the right beliefs, the success mindset, you also have to be prepared to learn new things, new skills. You need to ask yourself, for example, if your goal is to become a teacher, you need to ask yourself what skills, knowledge, experience I need to have to become a teacher. Then you must develop leadership skills, communication skills, interpersonal skills. And a very important thing is that you need to write them down. You need to write down your goals, because you can always expand them and enrich them. And you will be more committed and dedicated to your goals when you write them down. And when you run out of motivation, always remember that discipline is the bridge between the goal and accomplishment. It is a very important skill to learn, to have discipline. There is a story about a very successful entrepreneur, Sarah Blakely. She had a belief that a big dream was waiting for her. And she had an idea, an intention of creating a product that would help millions of women all over the world and create a revolution at the same time. But except from that idea and intention, she didn't have a vision or a plan. It took her almost 2 years to figure out what kind of products, the prototype product she wanted to create. But she knew about the collaboration with the mind, and she was asking her subconscious questions to send her symbols, signs, pictures of a problem that she could solve. At the same time, she didn't have any experience in retail, fashion industry, sales, promotion, marketing, but she was prepared to learn. This is something that I've mentioned earlier. And she was determined to be unstoppable. And she was very confident. She knew how to collaborate with her mind. And one of the very important things is that she didn't tell any of her friends and family about her idea for a very long time, for almost 2 years, because she knew that with the best of intentions and concern, that would awaken her fears and self-doubt, and that would program her subconscious for failure or to give up on her goals. She also admitted that many people told her that she will never achieve success, but she didn't let other people's beliefs reprogram her mind and influence her. So she was mentally resilient. You need to have mental resilience. Sometimes you need to keep your ideas a secret. You don't have to share everything. Then, except for a determination, she also had a fantastic definition of failure. Her definition of failure was not trying. And it is very interesting that in her childhood, so we go back to programming from childhood, there is a story from her childhood that she shares. She said that her father told her to share failures with him. And every time she shared a failure, she was encouraging her to try something new every day.
Wow.
And when she shared her failures with him, they celebrated as if she had achieved success.
Oh my
So
God.
she understood even in her childhood that the true meaning of failure was not trying, living in fear of failure and judgment. So in order to fight your fears, you need to confront them. You need to address them.
And she, I think, is the founder of Spanx.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
And she's not, now she's a billionaire, I think.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
beautiful. Danijela, how can people reach you if they want to work with you or find out more about you?
Yes, they can find me on Facebook, Mind Freedom Therapy Facebook page, or Instagram. They can contact me through Messenger. And
that's Mind Freedom Therapy.
Yes,
Danijela, thank you so much. That was an awesome show. Lots of gold nuggets. And I'm so glad that you found your purpose and that you're helping other people find their purpose and true freedom.
Thank you so much for your wonderful words. And thank you for spending this time with me. I hope that we have encouraged some people to take the steps and to change their lives and transform their destiny.
I hope so too. So that concludes another episode of How to Be Happier for Entrepreneurs. Remember, I'm on a mission to help 1 million people and I need your help. How can you help me? You can spread the word. If you like the show, please rate it, review it, share it, subscribe, whatever you can do to get this out. I'd greatly appreciate it. Until next time, remember, love heals all.
Hit subscribe if you don't want to miss out on more life-changing content. And if you're struggling, you don't have to. Go to bradchandler.com/contact. There, you can join the Facebook community of like-minded entrepreneurs, and you'll see a button to schedule your freedom and happiness call. See you on the next episode.